Hey, what's up, everybody? Sister Leona here from the Radical Matriarchy. As you know, the Feminist Weather Report is unpredictable, okay? And so I was going to be talking about the aesthetics of erasure in this episode, but unfortunately I was arrested. Okay, so first of all, Flagstaff Pride in the Pines is in Flagstaff, obviously. The first day I tried to drive up there was a huge fire, and actually everybody was turned around. I couldn't even drive up. It was like, I guess it was a sign of what was to come. And I went up to see my sis, the infamous Denise, and her partner Sunny, and their baby Sophie. So that's who I was hanging out with, and we decided to go to Pride because Pride is our family. I mean, at least that's what I was thinking. And then I went to Flagstaff Pride. And one thing about Flagstaff, Arizona, okay, I can tell you it is bright, okay? So we got there, and the first thing is we walked in and we got these wristbands, okay, from Mother Brewing Company. And there was also a main stage with performances going on. So, we came in, we got some cocktails, all right. And basically we started dancing and enjoying. We saw like 4 or 5 performances and they were all drag queens. So I was like, you know what? I think this place needs a drag king, okay? So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I know nobody's ever asked me about this, but I'll tell you anyway. My main influences for my drag king are Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee. And then recently I've been really getting into Pancho Villa, okay? The Mexican revolutionary with the mustache. And, my drag king can perform an air guitar like nobody's business, okay? TNT, I'm Dynamite, that is my song, okay? If you want me to perform this at your club, I shall. It's going to cost $200. But of course, I'm broke as shit because nobody has ever paid me to perform or even invited me onto any main stages. But, still, I like to perform. So I usually go out in the streets and do it in just wherever I feel like doing it because this is America. It's a free country, right? And that's what I told the woman who came up to me, the security guard who came up to me almost immediately, okay? She came up to me and she's like, excuse me, ma'am, but first of all security guards walk up to me the same way, usually like, oh, kind of with a smile on their face, kind of laughing and being like, oh, excuse me, out of control lady who probably drank too much. You really need to put your top on. No, I'm not putting my top on. And she was like, excuse me, what? I was like, no, I am not putting my top on. Because I am a drag king, by the way. I'm influenced by Pancho Villa, okay, Bruce Lee, and Muhammad Ali, all right? No. She's like, okay. So she walks away, all right? And then I'm dancing and stuff, as you can see here, dancing around. And then she comes up with 2 security guards, okay? And now she's like, no, excuse me, ma'am. There's no nudity allowed at this event. I'm like, first of all, ma'am, I'm not nude. And second of all, please observe all the other people around us who also have their shirts off, just like me. There are so many people here dressed just like me. So I'm not sure what the problem is. Okay, and here is where the real hero enters the scene. Okay, I'd like to introduce you to Madame Butterfly, Josie, my queen, all right? Here's where she steps in and she stands next to me and she takes her dress off. She's a trans woman. She takes her top off and she's like, so what's going on here? Now the security guard is like, fuck, like I'm going to get the cops. She walks away, me and Josie talk, we hug, oh my God, my sis, my queen, I love you so much. I mean, she was like, listen, we go down together, okay? The cops put the handcuffs on you, they're putting them on me, I'm gonna sit here with you throughout this whole entire process. My friend Denise is taping all this, she's like, I got the phone on, I'm just gonna tape the entire thing. We are going to do this together. And at this point, people around us are starting to kind of see what's going on. Of course, as soon as I take my shirt off, everyone's always like, oh my gosh. It's like, yes, mommy's here. I know, crazy. Mommy's here. And I'm also wearing a bracelet that says mother on it, okay? Oh my gosh, I was so upset. Anyways, and of course, the cops are sort of treating me the same way. They're like, excuse me, you just need to follow the rules. Didn't you read the sign outside? I'm like, I read the sign. It said no nudity. I'm not nude. So you see, that's where we're not understanding each other. And by the way, I'm a women's rights activist. Hello, what do you see right here? This is the state seal of Virginia, okay? I was arrested dressed as this woman who appears on the state seal. Her name is Virtus, okay, goddess of virtue. And as you can see, she's stomping on tyranny, which by the way happens to look like a man. And yes, she has a breast, okay, because she has a breast. And yes, I did spend 3 days in jail, but then they dropped all the charges because guess what? It's legal to stand up for your own rights in the United States of America. Hello. Anyway, so I did this action with the Equal Means Equal crew as well as the VA Ratify ERA, okay, Equal Rights Amendment. Ever hear about equal rights, sir? Is pretty much what I said to the policeman. And then he's like, listen, lady, this is private property, and private property, they're allowed to have their own rules. This is a private event, and private events can have their own rules. I was like, oh, really? Okay, so what? Sir, I stand up for my rights and for all women's rights on private property, public property, and a court of law. So you do what you need to do, okay? Because I'm doing what I need to do right now. Sir, my body is not inherently sex. It was painful, you know, it was sad. It was really sad to be at a pride event, you know, in solidarity and in celebration, you know, of human rights, right to be, right to express, right to be free, like everyone except for Mother. My sis, the butterfly, didn't get arrested. Nobody else got arrested because that's the thing is the reason why I was being asked to leave is because I have this thing on my body that feeds babies. Like it's for feeding babies. And when people say, oh, it's sexual content, no, it's literally not. Like it's literally has nothing to do with sex or reproduction if that's what sex is. And, you know, it's not genitalia. It's for feeding babies. Hello? Half the population, okay? Half of the population is being oppressed using this mechanism. It's called sexualization of the body, okay? And that's what happened to me at the Pride event. And when people are like, oh, but you know, the thing that makes it sexual is because men, you know, are attracted to them. It's like, well, men also want to stick their penis in my mouth. So am I supposed to hide that too? I mean, where does the logic end? Okay, it's like, well, I guess nowhere. Actually, the logic ends nowhere because what happened at Pride isn't just happening at Pride. Okay, it's also happening on Instagram and Facebook and Patreon. It's also happening in Hollywood, in the arts. Watch the rest of the Feminist Weather Report and see how women and the children who depend on them make up 70% of our nation's poor. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. It's because we have no respect for women, okay? We don't respect them at all. Because fundamentally factual, as in facts, as in scientific fact, women's breasts have literally nothing to do with sex, are not genitalia. I mean, how many times do I need to say this in a day? Women's breasts have nothing to do with sex if sex is reproduction. If sex is everything that men say it is, well, then I guess that's another story. But, you know, if we can agree on what the definition of sex is, and I pretty much go by the one that's like, you know, kind of like people smushing together, kind of pornographic kind of stuff. Like, anyway, okay, basically the problem that we're arriving at is that now I have a ticket for trespassing, okay? And the thing is, you know, I'm the type of person who likes to stand up for my rights, okay? This is, you know, the United States of America and stuff. That's like one of our rights, I guess, is standing up for your own rights. And the problem is women don't have equal rights in the Constitution, and so I can't actually stand up for my rights. If a person of color were kicked out of that event for being a person of color, okay, that would be called discrimination, okay? But I'm kicked out of the event basically for being a cis woman, and that's not called discrimination, okay? That's just called every single day in cis women's lives. I mean, I get it. You look at my breasts and you think sex, but it's like, that's you. You know what I mean? See, that's you, and that this is me over here. See how we're not the same thing? I'm not your property, okay? It's like my body isn't your property. No, you can't just come up and tell me what you think and make me stop doing stuff. Like, no, hello, I'm a full-grown adult. The woman's breast has nothing to do with sex, and thus thus get out of my face, okay? Except no, actually they're allowed to do whatever they want, and the law is also on their side. Basically, moral of the story is if you sexualize a woman, you're allowed to do anything you want. You could pay her less, you could fire her, you could sexually harass her, you could rape her, you can sexualize and erase her work, you can arrest her and throw her out of a pride event, and there's nothing she can do about it. So anyway, what I'm saying is there is a solution to this. It's called the ERA, okay, the Equal Rights Amendment. So this is a 100-year-old amendment that is, we're trying to get ratified through the states, and once it gets ratified, it can get passed, and, we will have equal rights in the Constitution, which we do not have at this moment. So our body is basically anybody's game, and so thus when I go up to Flagstaff, I just pretty much have to pay the ticket, and just accept that I'm being punished because I didn't do what Daddy told me to do, okay? But believe me, I shall be letting them know that I don't need a daddy, okay? And I don't need to be controlled, and I don't need to be told what to do. Okay, this is like a feeling that you have to experience. I mean, that's the thing that we are not understanding. It's like, okay, look at these great pictures of Bruce Lee and Muhammad Ali, like proud in the sun, like warrior pose. Like that pose, I know because I've experienced that pose in real life, okay, and it feels powerful, okay? And the fact that women aren't allowed to experience or explore that pose, okay, that kind of ferocity, fierceness, like that's a huge problem, okay? And I definitely want to change that.